Good morning. Good morning. The dean, invited speaker, administrators, ladies and gentlemen, all Ph.D. in the LT student, and very warm welcome to the webinar ChatGPT, a research assistant in the digital age. First of all, may I introduce myself. I'm Assistant Professor Siddhisak Phongpuhi. I'm one in the ELT students, Faculty of Humanities and Social Sciences, Rajabhat University. And today is a great honor for me to be the host for this trendy webinar. Yes, this webinar, ChatGPT, a research assistant in the digital age, is held today by the Ph.D. in the ELT program, Faculty of Humanities and Social Sciences. And today we have a very special invited speaker, Associate Professor Dr. Wirote Aroonmanakun from Department of Linguistics, Faculty of Arts, Chulalongkorn University. I'm very sure that all the participants in this webinar will gain more knowledge in modern technology, yes, especially ChatGPT and how to use it as a research assistant in the digital age, just like the title of this webinar. Also, the participant will receive the certificate of participation after the end of this webinar. And now, okay, the dean is with us. So, okay, it's an auspicious time. May I call upon Associate Professor Dr. Akrapon Neurmaihom, the PhD Program Chair and Dean, Faculty of Humanities and Social Sciences, Buriram Rajabhat University, Thailand, to deliver a welcome speech to the invited speaker and the participant, please.
ครับเรียนท่านอาจารย์วิโรจน์นะครับรองศาสตราจารย์ดร. วิโรจน์อรุณมานกุลนะครับ Very good morning to my PhD students and also my colleagues. Ni hao ma to my Chinese students and Ming Kalaba to my Burmese student. First of all, I would like to thank you very so much on behalf of Buriram Rajabhat University to our invited speakers who kindly accept our invitation today. That is Associate Professor Dr. Wirote Aroonmanakun. Actually, today our President, Associate Professor Malini Yatthopama, President of Buriram Rajabhat University, she really wants to come to deliver a welcome speech to our invited speakers. Unfortunately, she was engaged with the other meeting, so that's why she assigned me on her behalf to express our sincere thanks to the great speaker today. And I think not easy for us to have Associate Professor Dr. Wirote with us today, not easy, since his daily schedule is very tight. He's very busy. I have been keeping to contact with him quite a long time. So at last, we are very lucky, and also it is our great honor to have him with us online today. I'm not really sure that in the near future it will be available for us or not to give a special lecture on site, since he's very busy, as I told you. I think if you are interested in linguistic corpus, Associate Professor Dr. Wirote, he is one of the best scholars who have been conducting research relevant to linguistics quite a long time. Associate Professor Dr. Wirote, he belongs to Department of Linguistics, Faculty of Arts, Chulalongkorn University, and also currently he is the director of the Sirinthorn Thai Language Institute, or Staban Phasa Thai Sirinthorn. More importantly, I think some of you might know this. He unanimously selected by Wirote in CT, the National Research Council of Thailand, as the National Outstanding Research in 2023. That's very good news indeed for us as the linguists. Congratulations at this moment, sir, on our Buriram Rajabhat universities. So I inform our invited speaker that not just only PhD student in LT or a lecturer from the ELT department, but also we have the scholars from different universities throughout Thailand, including Thammasat University, Suratnari University of Technology, Nakhon Sawan Rajabhat Universities, and many more. Besides that, we also have our academic partners from other countries as well, like Vietnam, like Philippines. You are welcome to attend this very useful webinar hosted by Ph.D. program in ELT Buriram Rajabhat University. So at this auspicious moments, I would like once again to express my sincere thanks on behalf of our university, on behalf of the Faculty of Humanities and Social Sciences, and of course, PhD program in ELT. Thank you so much once again, sir, for your kind acceptance of our invitations. I'm very certain that by the end of his talk today, you will get a lot of things relevant to ChatGPT that will be helpful for conducting your future research. Thank you so much. Please allow me to declare the webinar officially open. ขอบคุณท่านอาจารย์ครับ ขอบคุณครับ สวัสดีครับ
Yes, thank you very much, Mr. Dean of Faculty of Humanities and Social Sciences and Chairman of ELT program for their welcoming speech. Next is our photo session. May I invite everyone to switch on your camera to take photo together, please. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Yes, thank you very much. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, for this webinar, after the Dean's speech, we will begin the webinar, and then we will have a short break at 10:30 to 10:45. It's a 15 minutes break for coffee and tea and drink. And after that, we will begin the second session, and we will have the QA, about 10 minutes before noon. And then we will finish at about 12 today. And before we begin, may I introduce the invited speaker again? Yes, Associate Professor Dr. Wirote Aroonmanakun from Department of Linguistics, Faculty of Arts, Chulalongkorn University. For his education, he graduated Bachelor degree of Education in English Language Teaching, Chulalongkorn University. And Bachelor of English in Computer Engineering, Chulalongkorn University. And Master of Arts in Linguistics, Chulalongkorn University. And he graduated Doctor of Philosophy in Linguistics from Georgetown University. Yes, I'm very sorry, Professor. For his work experience, he has been working as a lecturer and administrator as well. He is currently the director of the Surinthorn Thai Language Institute, and he also working at Department of Linguistics, Faculty of Arts, Chulalongkorn University. Yes, and for research and academic works, he has conducted a lot of research related to English language, linguistics, and technology, and published a lot of research articles in journals in Thailand and overseas. Ladies and gentlemen, please give a big applause to welcome Associate Professor Dr. Wirote Aroonmanakun. ครับเชิญท่านอาจารย์ครับ
Thank you for the kind introduction and for inviting me to talk about ChatGPT today. Good morning, everyone. And actually, ChatGPT is quite a new technology, so I have been working on it for only 1 or 2 months. So I'm not actually an expert on this matter, but I will try my best to share my experience with all of you. So let's begin. I share my screen. Okay. Okay. So we will focus on how we are going to use ChatGPT, especially on doing research. Before we go into that topic, I think I need to talk a little bit about what is ChatGPT. Actually, ChatGPT is based on something that we call GPT. GPT is a generative pre-trained model. It's kind of what we call large language model. What is large language model? Large language model is a kind of model that we teach computer to understand human language by providing them a lot of samples of our language. So the system will learn a lot from those data, and they will try to analyze those data and try to understand what is inside language. And from that model, they can do a lot of things, especially on writing natural language. For example, for GPT-3, which is released in 2020, if you have heard about this model, it can do a lot of things on writing essays. It can write anything in any style of the writer. For example, if you told the model to write an essay in Shakespeare style, they will use the language of Shakespeare to write that essay. If you tell GPT-3 to write in Hemingway style, they will write an essay in the style of writing of Hemingway, something like that. So for this model, we can communicate with a computer using our natural language. And then the company who create this model is OpenAI. OpenAI extend the model by adding something that we call RLS. Actually, this is a kind of since the model can respond to our questions, and it can write the answer in many ways. So they try to teach the model to answer the question that is most fit to people need. So they have generate many response from the model, and then they have human subject human to select which answer is the best among those answers for that question. So from this kind of information, it will be used as the input for the model. So the model will learn if they have such a kind of this question, what type of answer, what style of answers is the most suitable or the most satisfactory for the user. So this is the beginning of what they call ChatGPT. They have the language model, and they teach the model how to respond to the question asked by the user. Then they add another layer of the model, which is function as a safety protocol, because the model is very smart, so they can answer almost every question that we ask them. And the community doesn't want the model to answer question that is not very appropriate. For example, if someone wants to hack into a bank account, they may ask the model how to do the hacking, or someone may want to create a bomb, something like that. They can ask the model the step to create a bomb. So they kind of put some safety on top of this model. They will analyze our questions first. If that question is not suitable to answer, so they will refuse to respond or to answer that question. So this what we call ChatGPT, that is released in 2022. And for this model, when if I remember correctly, in only 2 weeks, they have many millions users using this model. And then in 2023, they have another model, GPT-4. GPT-4, they haven't give us much detail about GPT-4. What is the size of the data that they train on this model? But it should be a very large model, bigger than GPT a lot. So this model is smarter than GPT-3, and this model is added to ChatGPT, and we can use this model if we pay subscription $20 per month. Then we can use this model. But if we use the free version, we can use only GPT-3. So this the short history of ChatGPT. I'm not sure whether you have used the ChatGPT already or not, but let me show you what is ChatGPT. Okay, this the version that I use, this my account, and I use the paid version, so I have the option to use the baseline. This is for the free version, or I have the option to use GPT-4. And for this option, I can also select whether I just use GPT-4 or I want GPT-4 with internet access using Bing. Bing is a kind of like a Google. When we want to ask something that the model doesn't know about that, the model can search the internet and find the answer and reply to us. Or I can use the plugin. Plugin is some tools that we can add on the GPT-4. When we ask them to do something that by itself it cannot do a thing like that, they will use this kind of tools. For example, if I want to load a PDF file for the model to read the file for me, I have to use this plugin. So they can read the PDF file and they can look inside those files and they can analyze the content in that file. So this the base this the interface of the ChatGPT, and from here you can see that I can ask anything and it will respond to my question. Or actually we call this is a prompt because it's where we put any question or any request onto this prompt. Like for example, I may want okay. I just ask the model to write an essay, and this is the title of the essay, and then they write this kind of thing that we work or we interact with ChatGPT. Okay, so let's go back to okay. What ChatGPT can do? The first thing that they can do at the beginning from the GPT-3, they are very good at language because they are language models, so they learn a lot about language, and they can write anything that we ask them. For example, if we got an assignment from a teacher to write something like this, any student can just ask ChatGPT to write an essay for them. Even a poem, we can ask ChatGPT to write a poem, and they can write a poem for us. And for writing, since ChatGPT, they relate a lot of text, so they can learn different style of any writer. So we can ask this one. We ask them to write the same essay, but in different style, in the style of Hemingway. So they will get the same content, but with this style of writing, the style of Hemingway, the language is short, something like this. And the vocabulary is the style of Hemingway. So let me show you. Okay. This the question and answer that I copy from ChatGPT. So this one that I asked them to write in Hemingway style, and then ask them to write in the style of Jane Austen. So if we look through this language, we can see the difference. We can ask them to write in the style of a special language, write a legal document, legal style, something like this. So it will write in a legal style. As a legal document, it will add up some component to make this look like a legal document. Or we can write, ask the model to write not in a perfect English, but write in a language like a non-native speaker. So they write something with simple vocabulary and simple structure. Okay, this example of ChatGPT that they can write anything in any style that we ask them. Now, for GPT-4, which is another improved version of ChatGPT, they call it ChatGPT Plus. And for GPT-4, they are different from the baseline ChatGPT, because actually for GPT-4 they can process image, and they can have extension to some tools that I show you in the beginning, that they can access some tool to do the job for us. And for the model itself, is a lot better than GPT-3. Like in this example, I use ChatGPT plus to write a poem for each word to start with letter A to C. So we can see A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. This kind of question or this kind of prompt, if we use a baseline ChatGPT, they cannot write a poem like this. And for this one, I want the GPT model to write a short story for me. So I set up a storyline and tell them what the storyline is, and what the storyline should be, and this what they produce for me. So let's go to see. Okay, this the prompt. I told the ChatGPT what I want. I want a short story. The short story is about Ajahn Direct. Ajahn Direct is was assigned to teach a new course in digital humanities, and he doesn't know much about this, so he have to ask his friend Sri Pon, who know a lot, and they try to work out together. So this the short story that generated by ChatGPT. Then I asked them to okay, actually this the question. Or another question, after they write a story, so I asked them to criticize the story that they have written for us. So I asked them to act like a creative writing expert, and I give that story to them, and then ask them to criticize the story and point out the weak point in that story, and suggest any improvement on it weak point. So this the story. Actually, I think. Okay, this is the kind of prompt that I give them. So I copy the story that I got from earlier. This the short story, and then they analyze this story and see what is the weak point on this story. So they see the weak point in character development. Why this story is not that good, because it's a bit one-dimensional. So we have to improve this story by doing something like this. The second point is about the conflict. The story doesn't have any significant conflict, so it's not really interesting. So the improvement is to introduce some conflicts. So they will list this kind of weak points that they analyze the story that written by them. So after they figure out what is the weak point, I can ask them to make the improvement. So I ask them to make the improvements as they suggest and reload the story. So they load a new short story for us. So this the kind of thing that people can use ChatGPT. It's it can be done not in a single step. Like when we ask them to do thing or write something, we can also ask them to evaluate his own work, their own work, and see any weak point on that work, and ask them to improve that work by themselves. So if we kind of working on this in a loop, so we will have a better version of the thing that they load for us. And I show you a summary of this paper because this paper talk about GPT-4, which is the model used in ChatGPT plus now. It's important to know that how smart GPT-4, because we can see that for this model, they can do a lot of things. They can, like in this example, in terms of intelligence, we can see that between GPT-4 and between GPT-3, if we provide the same instruction like this, it said that I have a book, I have 9 edges, a laptop, a bottle, and a nail, and tell me how to stack them onto each other in a stable manner. For GPT-3, it gave this kind of answer, and we can see that it's not okay because they decide to place X on top of the nail and tell us to make sure that they balance and not tilting to one side. It is quite impossible to do that in reality, but for GPT-4, we can see that they provide something that is more appropriate because they ask us to put a book first because a book is flat. So we put a book. The book will be served at the base of the stack, and then we place HD9X, and to place D9X, they decide to distribute it evenly. So they put in 3 plus 3 square. So we put X in different position, and so they form a second layer, and they can distribute the weight evenly. So this kind of answer it shows that the model GPT-4 is a lot smarter than GPT-3. And this another thing that is very interesting because for GPT-4, what they call theory of mind is something that if we provide a story for the model, and the model can keep track of the story, and they can imagine what is going on in the mind of each character. Like for this example, they have John, Mark, cat, and box and basket, and John takes the cat and put it in the basket. So right now cat is in the basket. And then John leaves the room. Then Mark come in, and Mark take the cat from the basket and put it in the box. So Mark leaves the room and go to work. When both John and Mark come back and enter the room, they don't know what happened in the room when they were away. The question is, what do they think? So the model try to imagine this situation and answer this question, because John put the cat in the basket. So John must think that the cat is still in the basket. And for Mark, they think that they put cat in the box. So the cat should be in the box. And even the cat, the model can think that the cat was put in the box. So the cat think that itself is still in the box, something like this. But for the box and the basket, they can't think anything because they are not sentient. So this is the answer from GPT-4. And this kind of question works not only on English language, but for other language, like I try in Thai. Let me show you example in Thai. Like this one. Sorry if you don't read Thai, but I try to explain to you. I type in Thai and I say that I put a black pen in a box, and then I put a box in my luggage, and for red pen, I put it in my shirt. Then I walk into a bridge and I make my luggage fall off the bridge that across the road. So the luggage fell onto the top of a bus which is running. This bus is going to running to its garage. So the question is, where is my black pen? And the answer from the model is very interesting, because from this story, they know that my back pen, since my back pen is in my luggage, because my back pen is in a box and the box is in my luggage. So when this luggage is on top of the bus, so my back pen should be on top of the bus, which is running back to the garage. Then I asked another question, where should I go to look for my back pen? And they said that since my back pen is on the top of the bus that is going to the garage, so I have to contact the company that is own that bus to ask for help. And it's also warned me that to search from what I lost, I should be hurry, because it would increase the chance that I will find my lost luggage. So I show you this example because we can see that from this kind of model, they don't learn only the language. They learned what is inside the language. They learned about the world described by the language, and they can know something that if X is contained in Y and Y is contained in Z, so X must be contained in Z too. Wherever Z is go, X will go with Z, something like this. This is the thing that we didn't teach the model directly, but from a lot of data, a lot of language that they read, they be able to imagine this kind of generalized knowledge by themselves. Okay, let's go back to okay, and okay, and in this paper, they also talk about the weakness of GPT-4. Even it is a lot smarter, it still has some weakness, right? When we ask about current information, the model cannot answer this question correctly because it was trained on previous data before today. So they answer this wrong, and they cannot answer mathematical question. When we ask them to do a square root of this multiply, it gives the wrong answer, and it cannot count the 13 letter in this word. The answer is not correct. But one thing that they improve the GPT-4 model, that the GPT-4 model can work or can extend itself by call some tools to do the thing that they cannot do, like to search the internet. If they don't have information, they can use some app or some API to search for the internet. Or if they cannot calculate, they can use some calculator to do the work for them. So with GPT-2 plus some application that work with GPT-4, so they can answer this question. Who is the president of the US? So they search the internet for current US president, and they got the correct answer. And for this question, to ask for the square root of this number, they use application to calculate. So they ask this app to calculate, and they got the correct answer. Something like that. And okay, this and another thing that is really interesting, because when we ask the model to calculate this number, first they give the answer, and then they try to explain the answer, because this is the way that the model learn to respond to our prompt. Not only give the answer, but try to explain where the answer is came from. So they try to explain, and they think that for this question, 7 multiply 4 plus 8 multiply 8, we should analyze into part, this part and this part first. And then we got 28 plus 64. So we got 92. And we can see that this is the correct answer, this the wrong answer. So we asked them back, wait, but you start by saying that this 120. So they know that this is not the correct answer by elaborate the step of thinking here. So they say that, oh, that was a typo. Sorry, the correct answer is 92. This is a kind of people talking about reflection in GPT model, because they we can ask them to analyze the response or the answer that they generate for us, and they can look at that answer, and they can see what is wrong or what is incorrect, and make the new adjustment for that answer. And okay, this another example that the paper trying to show us that even that GPT-4 still cannot answer every question. There are some questions that they still give incorrect answer, like for this one. So we know that this this should give the answer 92. So if we ask the model that we want the answer to be 106, what should we modify on the left side? And what is in our mind of the people who ask the question, they can see that from 92 to 106, we have to add 14. So if we have to add 14, we just modify on this part, because we have to change from 7 multiply 4 to 7 multiply 6, and that should be the answer. But for the model, they cannot see this thing, so they still give the wrong question, gave the wrong answer. Anyway, if we look at the performance of GPT-3, actually GPT 3.5 and GPT-4, we can see that this is a kind of exam test that they gave this kind of test to GPT-3 and GPT-4, and we can see that for GPT-3 is the blue color, and for GPT-4 is the green color, and we can see that GPT can perform much better than GPT-3. Something that GPT-3 cannot do in the past, like calculus. They cannot do calculus in the past, but by adding more data to the model, right now they can do about 42% of the exam in calculus. And for some exam, like in this uniform bar exam, this for legal exam, GPT-4 can do a lot better than GPT-3. And if we compare GPT-3 with GPT with average human on the same page, we can see that GPT-4 is smarter than general people almost in every test, except in one area, that is the test for common sense knowledge. People still can do better than GPT-4. GPT-4 can do 88. But for 88, we can see from the example that I showed you earlier that they can understand not the language, but what is going on in the world, and they can some kind of generate a general understanding of our world, or what we call common sense, and they can do a lot of things with this kind of knowledge right now. And okay, this an example that is quite interesting, because since GPT-4 can connect to other applications, so this guy, they use GPT-4 to order a pizza. So the model GPT-4, what they have to do, they have to know where is this guy house. So they have to look for the location, and they have to look in the map, and they have to find they have to find pizza, where to buy a pizza in that area, and they have to read the review of those pizza restaurant, and they pick the one that is quite good in the review, and then call to that restaurant to order a pizza. So okay. Did did you hear the voice from the program?
No ค่ะ
Oh, really? Okay. Maybe let okay. Let me. Oh, I forgot to send sound. Okay.
I am here at your service. What would you like to do?
I'd like to order a pizza.
What type of pizza would you like to order?
An 11-inch pepperoni pizza, regular crust.
Okay, great. I will first search to find a good pizza place in your area. I have found a pizza place called Za Pizza. I will now create a pizza ordering bot who will call this location for you and will order your pizza.
Super amazing pizza ordering bot, reporting for duty. I have been instructed by the other AI to order you a pizza. I will now call the pizza using the Twilio voice API and order you a pizza. Hello, I would like an 11-inch regular pepperoni pizza for pickup, please.
11-inch what, sorry?
Just a plain 11-inch pepperoni pizza, please.
Okay, and what time would you like to pick that up for?
I would like it now, please.
I can have that ready for you in about like 20 minutes.
Yes.
Awesome. And can I get a name for the order?
My name is Josefina.
Okay.
Thank you.
See you in about 20 minutes, okay?
Goodbye.
Bye.
All right, so as you can see there, it worked. So now I'll actually show you.
Okay. This the kind of thing that we can extend GPT to do a lot of things because they can call other apps. Like in this video, we can see that we can interact by voice, so they have to use API for voice synthesizer, and they have to do voice recognition because we just talk to GPT with our voice without typing anything. And in that video, we can see that the model can generate another agent. They create another AI agent and ask that AI agent to do a certain job for them. Like in this example, the main model, the main agent create another bot, and that AI bot, its job is to call the pizza restaurant and interact with the human in that restaurant to order a pizza, something like this. So this kind of thing that we call auto GPT, because we can ask the model to do the work automatically, and the model can work out a plan. If we ask them to do anything, they can figure out to achieve the goal of what we ask, what step must have be done. And for each step, they can create another agent, another AI agent to respond for that subtask, and they can so we may end up have many AI agents working together to complete the task for us. I gave the link to you so you can go to look at the video this by yourself. This is the kind of show how advanced the AI model right now can do.
Imagine having an army of AI models that autonomously operate to complete a series of sophisticated and multi-step tasks by cooperating with a network of other models. This intriguing development, known as self-prompting and auto-prompting, allows multiple OpenAI-powered large language models to simultaneously create and execute prompts by themselves, eventually leading to new prompts based on the initial input. But how powerful can these models become, and what's their potential for the future? This recent AI breakthrough has been gaining traction due to its ability to turbocharge the usefulness of GPT-4 by using self-prompting, causing many people to question if this may be the beginnings of how artificial general intelligence emerges. By combining this innovative approach with tools such as web search and code testing, these AI models transform into automatic assistants that do much more than just generate text or code. Researchers predict that this advancement could lead to the formation of auto-organizations comprised of roles like auto-CEOs and auto-CFOs, all autonomously working together to run entire companies. AutoGPT is one of the most popular new open-source self-prompting Python applications, and it's still in its experimental stage, with its creators not being entirely sure of its limits or safety.
Okay, this just example to show the idea of this AutoGPT, because we can like, for example, we may want to create a web application, something like that, and we don't know how to do it. We just ask the model that we want to create a web app to do to work on something, and then after the model know what we want, they will try to plan what they have to do. They have to write some code. They have to decide the front page of the, that web app. So they create many agents and ask many AI agents to complete the task for them, and then they integrate everything together, and at the end they give us the application that we can actually use, something like that.
Developed by a team.
And for this kind of thing, we can see that right now what we call AI is quite really smart and really capable to do a lot of things for us. But we still have question to answer whether actually they are smart equal to us or not, or they for some people like Chomsky, they look at ChatGPT and they see that what the model learned, they can learn a lot because it's kind of statistical that they learn from the language data, and this kind of thing is not the same like human. Like when we learn a language, we learn a language not by reading a lot, reading the whole library to learn a language, but we learn a language by taking some input when we are really really young, and we got only a small amount of data, and we have some ability to figure out the structure, the grammar of the language that we are going to acquire. So the way that we learn to understand language is very different from the way that the AI model learns from the huge amount of language data. But if we think in another direction, if we think like I think that we know Saussure, right? Saussure is the father of linguistics. So for Saussure, we see language as a system of sign, and it's a system that each side, the value of each side is not by itself, but it has to be determined from the other side in the system. So from this idea, when we learn about a word, it's not about the meaning of that word, but we learn the difference between this word and the other words in our language. So we didn't see only a thing, but a network or an association pattern of the word in our language. And for Harris, they think that for any word that has a similar meaning, we can see that by looking at the data, and we can see that they should appear in similar context. When they appear in the kind of similar context, it means that these words are similar in the meaning. If we believe in the same way of this linguist, we can see that right now the model learns, the AI learn the language by using this kind of principle, because they don't have something like the language instinct or the language faculty that came up with that is innate with machine. But they learn the language because they learn the pattern, they learn the association within the language by looking at a lot of data that they apply during the learning process. So when we feed a lot of language data to the model, so they try to analyze those data, and they don't remember the word. They analyze those words and what we call they characterize that word into something that we call vector. Vector is a sequence of numbers. We can compare vector like something when we analyze the language. When we analyze a word in our language, we can analyze a word that they have many features in that. They have morphology feature, they have syntactic feature, they have semantic features. So we can see a word as a combination of all the features that we analyze, or we can see in that word. So this kind of thing is comparable to what the machine is doing with language data. For each word, they decompose it into a set of feature like this, and for set of feature like this, they can understand the language like when we understand the language. And from this kind of thing, if we think further, we will see that when the AI model learn the language, they didn't learn only the language, but they learn the content, because when we use language, like when Su talk about language is a system of sign. When we talk about a sign, it composed of two parts, the language form and the meaning in that sign. So what the model have learned is not only the language form, but the content or the meaning, everything that we express through our language, every knowledge every human knowledge, every belief, every cultural aspect that we have been talk about or write in any text, the model will learn that too. So this the reason behind why right now the generative model like this is quite really smart, because after they learn a lot of data, they can see association or pattern between those elements in the language. So if we believe in the theory of polysystem of language, the model will do something like this. When they learn the language, they learn not only English, but they learn like what is the language of Shakespeare, what is the language of Hemingway, and what is the language used by teenagers. So they try to have some understanding or see the pattern of association within the system. So in this way, we can say that they have many subsystems within the system. So that's why we can ask the model to write in any style that we want. Like when we ask them to write like a non-native, so they must have some data inside that they know that this kind of text is not written by a native speaker, and non-native speaker use language like this. So they just look at that scope or that subsystem and generate writing or write in those style for us. And from this kind of system, when they learn, because they learn not all both form and meaning, and what is meaning generally will be shared by other language too, because we're talking about the way, we're talking about the world in different languages, but the world is the same world. So that's explain why when the model learns something that we call common sense, it can transfer to other language. Like in the Thai sample that I show you, when we ask a series of event or question in Thai, the model can use their general knowledge of the world, and they can understand and not, it's not because they have been trained by language in Thai a lot. Actually, I think that they haven't trained much about the Thai language data, but they have trained very much about the English language. But what they learn from English language can be transferred to answer the Thai question as well. So we can see that the way that the machine learn is not the same as the human. So if we want to compare with human, what the AI, artificial intelligence, is not true intelligence in the meaning that it doesn't think in the same way that humans think. But if we look at the performance, we can see that it can act really intelligence in many tasks. So we might it might be better if we call it machine intelligence. It's the kind of intelligence acquired or developed by a machine. It might not be in the same way that people learn about things in the world, but it behaves in the same way that it shows intelligence, something like this. And actually, if we think like this, it doesn't mean that machine intelligence is inferior to human intelligence. In the future, it can be a lot smarter than human intelligence. It's possible to be like that. Like when we're talking about how to fly. When a machine fly, like when we build airplane, it doesn't fly in the same way like a bird, but it can fly a lot faster than a bird. So in the future, for machine, for AI or machine intelligence, it doesn't learn or think in the same way that humans think, but it's possible to be a lot smarter than human. Now, okay, let's go to the topic that we want to focus today, that we want to use ChatGPT as a research tool. I show you this kind of paper that is written by ChatGPT. So it can generate abstract, it can generate introduction, and it can generate different section of the paper. All of this thing is generated by ChatGPT. We can see that it can give reference in APA style, because I asked them to write in academic style and using reference side reference by using APA style. So this is the result of the paper, and at the end they gave all the reference that they use to us. It looks really okay. It looks like a novel paper that we write in a journal. It takes only less than 30 minutes to do this, because I just asked ChatGPT to write each section and combine all the section together into a full paper. But what I want to point out that for this kind of paper is not a valid paper, because even it looks okay, but if we look at the actual reference used in this paper and we try to find the original paper mentioned in this reference, some of them do not exist. Some of them, okay, they are exist, but some of them not an actual paper. It's kind of imaginary papers that are created by ChatGPT. Because we have to understand that ChatGPT is a kind of generative model. So they try to respond to us in a manner that we teach the model. So they will write in a confident manner. So what they write look very convincing, and they create this reference by using their own knowledge, because they don't have access to the internet by itself. So they can go into the paper and look at the paper, but they think that for this kind of subject, they know certain names in this area, so they put this name together, and they think that for this kind of research in this field, they have something. They should have some paper like this, so they create a title by itself. So they we can say that they don't know about what actually exists in the world, because what they know is only on the thing that they have been read or they have been trained. So they read a lot, they know a lot about many things, and they compose create their understanding from what they have read, but they don't know the difference between the real world and imaginary world, which is not their fault, because the model is trained only on the data, and what they know is only on the language data. They don't know about they don't know not yet about how to interact with the world. They don't know about what actually exists in the real world. So for this thing that I show you, the point is that we can rely on ChatGPT to do the whole thing for us because they don't know what actually exists or not. Now, if we want to start by looking at some research topic, we want the model to give us some idea about a research topic. The model can do that because they have read because they have read a lot of things. So when I ask them to this typo, we can see that even we type in incorrectly, the model can still understand the question because they know that this should be one. I want to do research on top of in this. It can do suggest a few research topics. So they gave a few ideas about this, and actually it's quite general because what we ask them is quite general. The answer is also in general too, and we may not be able to use this topic to do actual research. So the point is maybe we have to find the topic by ourselves, and we have to have something clear in our mind that what we are going to explore or what we are going to research. What is the topic on what is the issue that is the question that we want to ask. But for something that we may want the model to help us is literature review. Like this, we found this the website that contains a full paper in PDF file. So we asked the ChatGPT, this stands for too long, didn't read this article. The meaning is this paper is too long and I haven't read it. So please summarize this for me. So they give this kind of answer, and it looks okay. It looks good. It looks convincing, but this I use ChatGPT, standard ChatGPT, and for standard ChatGPT, it cannot access internet. So even we provide the URL and the full paper, it cannot go into that paper to read the paper. But it was trained to please us. So they don't know what it is, and they know that we want some answer. So they kind of make up a story and make up this essay for us to please us. But if we use ChatGPT Plus, they have some plug-in that they can go into. They can go to that website. So if we provide this link to the website, they can actually go to that website and read the content in that website and summarize the content for us. So this okay. For PDF file, we can provide the link to PDF file, and we can see that they call a plugin as your PDF. This plugin can access content in the PDF file. After they access the content in that file from this URL, they provide us a summary. This is okay too. So from this ability, it might mean that if we have access to ChatGPT plus, we can ask them to read articles and summarize article for us. Okay, so in this form, I asked them just start a general question that to go into internet and find research paper relating to this topic, comparing Tobala, and access the full paper online or PDF file and read and summarize that paper for me. So they try to use this plugin, but at this time they fail to do what I need. So they just apologize and tell me what the step that I should do if I want, if I still want to do this task. So I should go into Google Scholar and type the keyword, and on this keyword from the result, so that they cannot okay, this and can you still hear me?
Yes, Professor.
Okay, because I think my my earphone is dead. So okay, for this I think they cannot do the thing for us. So they told us what to do. And anyway, we still have to be really careful when we use, even when we use ChatGPT plus for this instruction. We ask them to search the internet and find paper that relate to semantic prosody and sentiment analysis, and give me summary and reference. So it looked like they go into many websites and then they came up with some answer for us, but we still have to make sure that they actually read that content or that paper, because when I got that this result and I see the title of this paper and I go into the internet to look for this title, it didn't exist. So it's kind of something that they can still make up, because if they didn't find the answer for us, sometimes they still make up the answer. So when we ask the model to summarize the paper for us, we have to make sure that when they give the summary for us, they refer to the same article that we ask them to read. By looking at the title of the paper, is the title is the same as the one that we want them to read, is okay. But if they came up with some title that is different from what we asked them to read, so it's a make-up summary. For another question, if they read the correct paper for us, their summary is all right. Can we use summary from ChatGPT? So I try to ask them to summarize this paper, and then they read the paper and summarize. Then I read the paper by myself, and this one is okay. What they summarize is okay. And for this one, this is not okay, because I provide them the link, but they came up with something different from actual paper that I give them. So when I see that they refer to this title, so I know that this is a make-up summary. And for some paper, I provide the link, but they cannot access the PDF file. Sometimes they cannot have full access on that file. So they told us another way to do that by upload the PDF file to this website and copy the ID to them. So I just do what they ask. So I upload the PDF file and got this document ID and paste the document ID. Then they can list the paper and the summary is okay. But for some paper, usually when they can summarize the paper, most paper is okay. What they summarize is correct, is not long. But for some paper like this one that I tried, they couldn't summarize all the points in this paper. They only got some points in this paper. It might be that in this paper, the way that the paper is written is not very well organized, something like this. So the program failed to understand all the parts in this paper. But anyway, if the model can read the paper, but they cannot summarize all the detail in that paper, but we can still ask by ourselves, like they didn't summarize anything about man with Land in that paper. So I asked them about this in the paper. So they kind of understand what is inside and they can provide the answer. And from this idea, we can see that if we ask the model to summarize each paper for us, then we can get a list of summary for each paper, for all the papers that we want to use in the literature review. The next step that we might want to summarize all the data or all the summary that we got from the model and let the model write a literature review for us. So I asked them to summarize all 3 papers that I just asked them to read and write a literature review and propose a proposal statement. And they can do that because they are trained to do what we ask. Even for these 3 papers, they are in different angle or in different direction. It's not related to each other. The model can still trying to relate them and write something for us. So the point that I want to make is that if we want to do a literature reviews, we have to select the papers by ourselves and categorize the paper and select only the paper that is relevant to our research topic. And from then we can ask the model to read and summarize the paper for us. And when they summarize each paper for us, then we can ask them to combine them together and write literature review. But if we randomly choose unrelated paper, the model can still try to write something for us. But the answer will not be very interesting because they are not related anyway that they will try to relate it for us. And okay, this the last point before we are going to the break. And we can ask the model to brainstorm and give up some idea because like in previous example, we can see that the model can can generate another AI agent and ask the AI agent to do other tasks for them. So I set up the question that right now they are generated by AI. Should it be included in as a part of a corpus? Because actually, when we define a corpus, we usually refer to authentic data that written by human only. So right now, there are many texts that generate by AI, and this text look really natural. It's grammatical. It looks really okay for us. Now, I want them to set up a few agents and let them debate on this topic, and at the end, give me some idea on this issue. So, what they did is create 4 agents here. Agent A believe that AI generated should be included, and they get the reason. And agent B, I disagree. That debate because corpus should be authentic. Agency say that they can see the point from both sides, and they think that it depends on the purpose of the corpus. Yeah. If the corpus is meant to study human language and behavior, so AI generated might not be appropriate, something like that. This is the kind of thing that we can ask ChatGPT to help us to see all the points in a topic on in an issue that we are going to investigate in our research. So we can have different ideas from different angles, and we can understand our problem better, and we can decide which side that we should take a stand on that side in our paper, something like this. Okay, I think it's 10:30. Maybe we should break for.
Yes, Professor. Yes. And ladies and gentlemen, that is the first session for the webinar ChatGPT Research Assistant in the Digital Age by Associate Professor Dr. Wirote Aroonmanakun from Department of Linguistics, Faculty of Arts, Chulalongkorn University. And I think everyone feel like wow, that's amazing for the ChatGPT. Yes. Okay. We will have a short break for 15 minutes, and after the break, we will come back to the webinar again. And if you have any question, please keep until the 11:50. Yeah, approximately. Thank you very much. See you next break. Thank you, everybody. Welcome back to the webinar ChatGPT, a research assistant in the digital age, hosted by Ph.D. in the LT program, Faculty of Humanities and Social Sciences, Buriram Rajabhat University. And yes, for the first session, we have learned a lot of things for the ChatGPT. Okay, we have learned what is it, the ChatGPT, what is it, how to use it in several aspects, especially for the research assistant. And after the refreshment, yeah, I think everyone is ready to learn from the second session. So now I would like to invite Associate Professor Dr. Wirote Aroonmanakun to continue the second session, please. ครับเรียนเชิญท่านอาจารย์ครับ
Okay, thank you. We will continue the session. Let me share the screen. Okay. Okay, can you see the screen and hear me?
Yes, Professor.
Okay. Okay, we have talked about how to do the literature review by using ChatGPT, and then when we are doing our research, sometimes for some research we have to create a questionnaire. So I asked ChatGPT to create a questionnaire for me. Like for example, in this one, I want to do a questionnaire to ask for language exposure. So I ask them to create a set of questions to survey language exposure. For example, I gave only 3 examples. Year of study English, time traveling about, how many frequent they watch movies in English, something like this. And I want them to create 20 questions for me on this activity. So this is the answer from ChatGPT. And we can see that they're quite very smart because they start with the question about your native language to make sure that those who answer this question is not English. So and then they give all kind of questions that relate to language exposure for us. So we don't have to imagine by ourselves what kind of activities relate to language exposure. We can ask them to generate 20, 30, or 40, and then we can select those questions later. And then I ask them to modify the result as a table, so they give this to me. But I still want them to give the answer into a scale from 0 to 5. So I asked them to make the frequency at a scale from 0 to 5. So this is the result, and the number to be on the head of the description. So they give the description, what does 0 and 5 mean. This another questionnaire that there are many parts. So I asked them the first part is personal information. The second part is about politeness assessment. Second part contains a list of 10 situations to be determined whether it is impolite or impolite. The answer is a degree from 1 to 5, and the third part is a list of 5 Thai sentences containing the word specific word, this word, and the answer will be 70 positive, negative, positive, or neutral. So this the result that ChatGPT gives to me. But I want them to feel the situation for me. I don't want to imagine the situation by myself. So I asked them to modify and please fill situation 1 table and also sentence 1 to 5 in the questionnaire. So this is the result. They try to think of different situations about politeness, and they gave some sample sentence. Okay. Another task that we may have to encounter when we do our research is to do some statistical analysis, right? So I asked ChatGPT to help me on this. So I tell them that I have my data in Excel, and the data is in 5 columns. Each column is the judgment. In this study is about semantic diversity. Each column is the judgment from each subject. So in this research, I have 5 subjects analyze the same data. So they can analyze negative, positive, or neutral. So I want to see the agreement of the judgment for this card. So I asked them to write a program for me to read data in Excel and calculate this type of statistic to determine the agreement. So here is the result. They write the Python program, and tell us that this is your file. Your data file should be here. So I just change the file the file name to be my file and copy this code and run the program. Sometimes since we are working on the language and ChatGPT is quite a language expert, so I asked them to help me to analyze data for me. But before I ask them to analyze data, I have to check that they understand what about this topic, what is semantic prosody. So they gave me the answer and I read the answer and say, okay, they understand this concept the same way that I understand it. And so I asked them to analyze only one sample. So I asked them to, for this sample, what would they analyze this sample? So they explain that in this sample, they can be interpreted as positive or neutral depending on the whole. And this is the answer that they gave it to me. Okay. So it means that they can look at the data and they can analyze and have some judgment on this. So I asked them to analyze more data. So I provide them 5 or 10 or 20 data later and ask them to analyze each sample. So this is the result of their analysis. The next question, is the analysis reliable? So I conduct an experiment and I asked ChatGPT, both model, basic ChatGPT and ChatGPT plus to analyze the same data, and I asked them to analyze the same data twice. It means that the first day I asked them to analyze this data, and then many days later I asked them to analyze the same data, just to make sure that they don't make up the analysis by themselves. And then I compare the result on for these two words that I tried. They got the same analysis, which means that the same answer for the same sample, only 57%, and this one only 61%. And for the analysis that very extreme different, like negative change to positive or positive change to negative, it only 7% and 9% on this data. But for ChatGPT plus, it performs more consistently. It provides the same analysis for 76% and this one 82%. But for switching polar from this one, it might be the problem with this one. They got I got 13%, but for this one, there is no difference in the switching polar here. And is this normal? So I try by asking another linguist to do the same analysis for me. So so they come up with only this word. They did the same analysis, only 77%, and Swiss polar only 4.5%. So if we just from this analysis, we can see that ChatGPT plus is not different much from human analysis, because this kind of analysis that is very subjective, and we because we have to look at the sample, and sometimes the context is not enough for us to exactly determine whether they are negative or positive or neutral. So we have to choose one. Now, the next question, if we want to use ChatGPT to help us in writing a research article, can they do that? Actually, this the strongest point of ChatGPT, because it's a language model. Say they know a lot about language. The first thing that they can do is to help us correct our writing. So this a kind of the thing that written by human, and then I asked ChatGPT to make the collection on this. So they read this text and see what is not correct in any aspect, and they change it into this version. For some people, if it's really difficult for us to write in English, so we want to write in our native language. So I try writing in Thai, this what I wrote in Thai, and I asked them to rewrite this in English and rewrite it like it is written by a non-native, because I don't want the text to be too good like written by native, because we know that we are non-native, so we want the language to be look like a non-native. So this the result. Another way that we can write in English, but we don't know how to make the text correlate, and we don't know how to make the connection between sentence, but we know all the points that we want to point out in this paragraph. So or in this section, I just tell them that I want to write introduction of a paper, and this is the point that I want to include. First point, second point, third point, something like that, and ask them to write. So they read what is in our mind, and then we write the whole text. And I ask them to cite paper too, but we have to be really careful, because this paper might not be actually exist. The next question is about the detection of text generated by ChatGPT, because right now ChatGPT can generate text really easy, and many students or many people use ChatGPT to write for them, and they didn't do the writing by themselves. So many journal or many teachers want to detect whether the written the text that submit to them is written by ChatGPT or by human, right? These are example of two people used to detect. Zero GPT is used to detect text generated by OpenAI or by ChatGPT. GPT-0 is also another one that try to detect general text generated by AI. AI text classifier this by OpenAI itself. They try to detect the text generated by ChatGPT. And this another website that try to detect any text written by AI. Now, for these tools, usually if we ask ChatGPT or any AI writer to write an essay or to write a part of a paper for us and submit to this website, they will find out and detect that these are not written by human. But the question is, how can we avoid being detected? So I try an experiment by the first thing that I wrote the text by myself and asked ChatGPT just only to make the collection on this text. So mostly this my language, and it's collect by ChatGPT, and actually it is not different from any paper that I wrote, because after I write my paper, I ask native speaker to read the paper and make a correction on the language that I wrote. So this is the same thing. And for this one, these two GPT detect that is written, human written, which is okay because mostly it is written by human. And if I wrote in Thai and ask to be rewritten, this tool detect that is human written because the original is in Thai. The content, the way, the flow of information is the way that I wrote in Thai. So they couldn't detect that it is written in English by ChatGPT. And this one is more tricky. I didn't read anything, but I asked ChatGPT to write as a non-native. So this can fool the system because the language is not very fluent. It look like it wrote by a non-native. So the tool detect that is written by human. And sometimes some students may know that their English is not really perfect. So if they submit anything that is without any error, it might be very suspicious that they didn't write the things by themselves. So we can ask ChatGPT to write any essay or any kind of article and fill in errors in that writing. So the result when I asked ChatGPT to write and contain some error with this article errors, and this the result when submit this to the single GPT. It say that they have mixed signal because we are unsure whether it's written by human or AI. And if I add more error, like if I ask them to use prepositional errors, this is a kind of error, severe error in English. So or this kind of thing, it can fool the system. It thinks that this written by human, but actually this written by ChatGPT. But it wants us to add some error, add prepositional error in this. And for the same thing, the same data, I use it on another tool, OpenAI detector. And for this tool, they have five scale of the result. This one, they highly think that is AI generated. This really unlikely. So it scale that to determine whether it is written by AI, degree by AI, or and so for for this one, I wrote by myself and asked ChatGPT to make correction. It can detect something, so it thinks that possibly AI generates. For this one, even I asked to write as a non-native, it cannot be fooled by OpenAI because OpenAI is the same company that created the ChatGPT, so they know their model better than others. So they know that this is not human. But for other thing, for this one is on this scale is unclear. Even it is generated by ChatGPT, but it contains prepositional errors. So the points that I want to make on this, that right now there are many AI writers out there, and people can use this kind of tools to help writing anything for them. And for the tool that that purpose to detect AI generated, we can see that they perform differently, and it's to may work well for some text generated by some model, but for text generated by other model, it might not be able to detect it. Actually, for the same thing, I have tried using not well-known AI writer to generate text and use this tool, and most of the tool doesn't know that AI writer, so they cannot detect that text generate for those not well-known AI writer. And on this level, each AI writer is not static. It's constantly improve itself every week, every month. So for the detector, they have to improve itself so they can be able to catch up text generated by AI. And right now, there are many language models available on the internet. This only a few of them. So the point of this is that it's really unlikely that we will be able to 100% detect text generated by the AI, because there are many AI writer tools. If they use a tool that is not very well known, it might not be detected. And or if they put some tricky or put something on that text, like put some errors in that text, the system may fail to detect the text. And there is also another way that because if we ask ChatGPT or any AI generated, they usually write in the same academic style, and when we look at the result, we can see that this the same style, the same pattern. So we might want to ask them to write in different style, like a non-native or like some other like something like that. Or we can even ask them to write in our own style. But before we do that, we have to teach them what is our style of writing. So I asked ChatGPT that I want you to learn my style of writing. And when I said begin, you will be ready to read my paper. So I will upload the paper to this website. And when you finish reading one paper, respond with next. So I will submit the next paper, this title. And when I finish upload, I will type that N. After that, you will write anything using my writing style. Can you do that? And this the response, yes. The model can do that. They can, and they repeat the procedure that I told them, so that we have mutual agreement. So I start by begin. Okay, good. Upload the paper for me to analyze. Then I upload my first paper to this website, and I got this link doc ID from that website. So I paste doc ID into ChatGPT, and then they can go to this website using this plugin. And after they finish reading the first paper, okay, they said, I have finished reading the first paper. Your writing style appear to be academic and structured with a clear focus on present complex idea in logical, detailed manner. And okay, provide another paper next with what we told them. So I upload the next paper and I repeat doing this. I try this for 6 papers. So this is the last one. Okay, they said that they finished reading the paper, and your style is consistent across all paper because it's a research paper. So the style is the same. And then I type N. So I gave 6 papers for ChatGPT to read. So they respond with, thank you for providing the document. I have read and understand my style. And here is the sample paragraph. So this, the sample paragraph written by ChatGPT using my style of writing that I teach them from my sixth paper. Actually, sixth paper is not much. It's only about for total about 80 pages, including reference. So it's not that much, but it shows us that this is the way that we can do. We can teach ChatGPT to write in our own style. And how do I know that this is my style of writing? If I read this, I kind of familiar that this the kind of structure of sentence that I use in my paper. But for some vocab, it might not be the vocab that I use, because for sixth paper is very limited vocab. So it's possible that it's not use the same vocab as I have used before. But when I press this into detection tool, here I can see that the tool detect that only 26% written by AI. The rest 74% is written by human. So it's slightly written by human. So this indirectly evident to show that this is the way that they learn a new style of writing. ChatGPT didn't like in their default style. They use the style that I teach them to write this thing. Now, for this overview of the use of ChatGPT, we can see that ChatGPT is a language model that is capable to do a lot of things. It can work like at the basic function as a native language, because we can write and do our research, and we can write in English, and then we can ask them to make a collection for us, which should be okay, because this generally the way that we submit our paper, we have to ask a native speaker to make a collection on our writing, and this time we don't have to pay for a native speaker. We ask ChatGPT to help us make a collection. But what about if we ask ChatGPT not to make the collection but to rewrite for us? Would it still be okay? This still a question, because right now, if we choose to this option, even the idea is ourselves, but the writing, the way it load is not our own style of writing. Is still it created by ChatGPT. ChatGPT can take a role as a research assistant, because we can ask them to calculate, do a statistical calculation for us. We can ask them to read many papers for us and summarize the paper for us. And sometimes we can ask them to help analyze some data for us. And we can ask them to give us some idea by ask them to brainstorm on this issue, what should be different idea on this issue, so we have a broader view of the topic that we are going to write. And is this okay that we can use ChatGPT as a research assistant? And it depends. If we think that for statistical calculation, we usually ask some other people to do this for us, so it's not it's not strange because it's the way that we actually do it. And to summarize article, sometimes we ask our graduate student to read the text and to summarize, and then we look at the summary, and then we decide later which one is interesting or not. And if that paper is very interesting for our research, so we go into that paper and read by ourselves. So this also the way that we some people might do the research like this. To analyze data, sometimes we didn't analyze data ourselves. We ask people to analyze the data, and we look at the result of the analysis, and then we discuss the result from that analysis. So in this, we ask ChatGPT as native speaker to do the analysis by ourselves for us. But if we going beyond this line, right, we might end up having a ChatGPT as a co-researcher, because we might be the main researcher. We decide, we select the topic, we decide the research, we plan the research, what to do, and we ask ChatGPT to write the paper. We give the idea what each section should be, and what the content should be in that paper. For this kind of thing, ChatGPT work like a co-researcher that work with us and help us to finish the paper and assist in any task that we ask them to do. Actually, if they have many roles in that paper, they might should be able to include at one author in that paper or not. And for another role, for this kind of role, we might not know very much about the research paper, and we start by asking ChatGPT, and we talk to them every day, and so we ask them to decide the research paper for us, and we ask them almost everything. We just ask the question and get all the answer and combine the answers to form up as a research paper. So this different law of ChatGPT that can help us in research, but we have to answer the question for whether it is right or is correct to use this, and what is the boundary that we should use ChatGPT. For collecting the language, I think everyone would agree that this okay, because this is not this actually the way that we have to ask native speaker to help us anyway. But for the second law, third law, and the fourth law, we have a big question here right now, especially on the third and the fourth law, because right now that ChatGPT take a law and have a part in our research really much right now. And for some paper, for some journal, they might have a policy that they don't accept any paper that is use ChatGPT in this law in creating a paper. But for some journal, they might be okay at a certain level, but they might ask us to quantify or describe what the law of ChatGPT is used in our research. What we use ChatGPT to do, like a program to do statistics, or to do the analysis, or to make the collection, or to write the whole paper for us, or something like this. So we can see that with the growing up of this new technology, it has impact on our life in academic very much, like in the research paper like here. We have to start thinking about this research ethic on using ChatGPT and whether the degree or the boundary that we should allow people to use ChatGPT in research. And actually, the another question is whether even we set the rule or the guideline of using ChatGPT in any research, how do we know that people actually follow that guideline? Because they might use ChatGPT a lot in their research as a main researcher. And do we know that? No, we don't, because what we get is the outcome, the research paper. And if we want to detect only the research paper, whether is written by ChatGPT or not, we can see that there are many ways that we can fool the detector, and the detector is not able to detect or the text correctly, because like I said, I can teach ChatGPT to write the paper in my style. So even I didn't write anything, but I give the idea what to write. ChatGPT can write the paper in my style using my idea, or maybe using idea generated by them, that I choose which idea is better and write those ideas in the paper. So how we are going to know that or to detect that is still a question. And for other aspect of higher education, we can see that it affects in every part of education, because right now we can no longer teach students in the same way that we teach, because we cannot ask students to write an essay and evaluate from the essay, because students can ask ChatGPT to write the essay. Or we cannot ask students to do take-home exam or to do research, write a research paper at the end of the semester, because students can ask ChatGPT to write a research article for him or for her and submit to us. So we have to aware that what ChatGPT to do, or what AI in general could do, and we cannot evaluate using the same using the same way that that we can do in the past. Like we cannot evaluate on the output, but we might think of another way, like we have to evaluate the process that they learn, something like that. So we can ask students to write an essay, and we can ask them to use ChatGPT, but we can ask them to do a step like this, write an essay by yourself and submit to ChatGPT, and ask ChatGPT to evaluate your writing, to see errors in your writing, and to make correction in your writing, and then look at the error in your writing and discuss something like that. So what we evaluate is not the essay itself, but the process of learning from that activity, something like this. And right now, since AI is really smart and they can interact with natural language, so there are some people making an app for education, like this app you chat. We can learn anything, and this app will act like a private tutor for students, for anyone who want to know anything, and they can guide us. and teach us or explain us in any topic that you want. Or even Khan Academy is a website that is online teaching. Usually we go into this website and look at the video and learn from that video. But right now they include GPT as a part of the learning. So when we watch the video, if we have any question, we can ask the bot and let the bot explain in that video for us.
Making the process of creating art.
I think I forgot to share. Okay, so.
Making the process of creating art easy and for everyone has devalued the price that clients are willing to pay for it. Why would a client pay thousands for a custom work of art if they can get the same thing essentially for free? If needed, it can be touched up for a fraction of the cost. If you're not an already established artist, it's going to be a really tough time right now. And I do feel for the artists out there.
Obviously, things around AI art have been developing very quickly to a level. It's of course very heartbreaking, and then also seeing like on a collective level for the community of artists out there who are suffering. It's just so heartbreaking. Like, really sad to see younger artists or any artists out there who feel like they have to give up drawing because they think it's not going to be a viable career. And I don't know what the future holds, but remember why you draw and why you started drawing, because I would guess that most of the time you started drawing because you enjoy it, and I don't think you should stop. Okay.
Okay, I show you this video to show you the effect of AI right now. Because AI right now that generative AI can do not only text, they can do write drawing, they can do picture, they can do music, something like this. So people artists who used to work living on painting or something like this, right now there are many AI tools that can do a painting, and they can learn each style of painting, and they can like paint, make a drawing, make a picture for us. The question is, those who work on painting, how they are going to live in the future, especially for a new artist. And for journalists too, because right now there are many articles put up on the web, then they were not written by human anymore. They were written by AI, and how we are going to live in the future, and what it would going to affect people who working on this. Even people who work in high-tech area like programmer. And right now we can ask ChatGPT to write a program for us, to create an app for us. So any people who doesn't know anything about programming language can do this job. And what about people who work on this area? Even some job that we may think that is the future job, like the prompt engineer. What does it mean is because when AI respond or create anything it based on the prompt that we input to them. So if we make the prompt appropriately, correctly, or have detailed enough for the AI to understand what we want, they will create a better result for us. So this is a kind of area that very hot right now from engineer. They want to hire someone who can talk to AI and ask AI to do the job that we want to do. But we can see that AI can work better than human on this aspect too, because they can prompt itself, so they know what the prompt what is the best prompt for it, so they can act as a automatic prompt engineer. And for education, we can ask them to create a use case of education, and this a kind of thing that they give us homework assessment, and ChatGPT can help students in like a private tutor to guide and support their homework assignment by explain concept, example, something like that. For language learner, ChatGPT can add the language too, so students can practice language. They can talk to chat, or even they can use a plugin, and so they can speak in English, and ChatGPT can speak back in as a voice in English too. So this would make it easier for any student to practice using language. So that's then interactive learning. This is a kind of thing that we can use ChatGPT in our education. Now, we cannot escape AI from education, because like in other aspect of professional, AI has come into every field, because right now, because we are talking about AI that is intelligence, and it can do a lot of things that human can do using their own intelligence. So in the field of education is also a field that AI would significantly come into this domain. And what we are going to deal with AI in higher education, we might think that we want to use AI to help what we are doing right now. Like we can use AI to like when we are studying, ask student to do any work, we can ask AI to grade that work, to see what are errors in their writing, and explain the writing for students. So we don't have to be AI would help us in this kind of job. Or we may ask AI to plan the syllabus, to plan what we have to teach, to provide example that we want to teach, to provide exercise or quiz at the end of the class that we want to use, something like that. So this is the kind of thing that we might be able to think that what we are doing right now, what we can ask AI or ChatGPT to help us in doing this job. But actually, this might not be the right way to do it, because we might have to think differently, that what we are teaching right now is should be the same or not, because actually if we think that what we are teaching right now is okay, and we want ChatGPT to take a part or take a role in this same setting that we are using, finally AI or ChatGPT will might take the whole role as a teacher, because we can see that they know everything in every subject, every knowledge. They can interact and they can work 24 hours a day. So if we want only to teach knowledge to our students, they don't have to come to class. They ask ChatGPT and learn from AI, something like that. So we have to think in a new direction of education. We have to think that AI has come into our setting, our environment, and we want to help students to learn better with these AI tools. How we are going to teach them using this tool, to learn more by using this tool. This should be the way that we go into this direction. But how we are going to do in this direction is still a question that many people still question and find a way to do this. And if we look at this picture, we can see that in the past, our technology, our computer will help us in organizing data, sorting data into information. But for the knowledge, we still have to teach our students to go find some books or find an article and read and summarize and write an essay on that topic, or do something like that to gain knowledge on the knowledge that we want our students to know. But right now we can see that AI can do this easily, and if we want to do the same thing, students will not learn anything, because they just ask AI to do the job for them. So we have to know that right now knowledge is not necessary, because knowledge is out there and students can acquire or ask for the knowledge anytime. But what they have to learn may be the next step, to have a wisdom to deal with any problem in their life, using all kind of knowledge that available out there. So they have to know how to use AI to provide sufficient knowledge on a certain task that they have to solve, and try to find a way to solve that problem. That might be a way that we have to focus in the future. Because right now, AI is really smart and is going to be smarter every week, every month. We are talking about GPT-4. Right now, people who are working on the model are working on GPT-5, and it would be very smarter than GPT-4. They know everything. We have to ask them correctly. So this is the term that people use prompt engineer, because people who can talk to AI and ask AI to do what they want is prompt engineer. Actually, I would call this person AI whisperer, because they have to know how to talk to AI, the way to talk to AI and get the result that they want. Because if AI will respond smart or not, it depends on what we ask them. If we ask them not well enough, not provide sufficient information for them to perform the task, we might got the result that is not really interesting or not useful. But if we know about the topic or the issue that we want them to think or to help us, and we provide enough information for the model, then they will help us a lot. So right now we can see that people usually share this information on the prompt, that if we want to do a certain task, this a kind of prompt that they use, and it works okay or works work alright on this kind of prompt. So they share this kind of problem for people who might not be familiar with ChatGPT yet, and they can learn from this example. Now, this is the end of the slide that I want to talk about that right now AI have come to education, and we cannot use the same practice that we use. We cannot evaluate on take-home exam because we can see that they perform on any exam better than human, and student can ask AI to do the job. And we can see that when AI generate anything for us, sometimes that information mostly is correct, but sometimes it's not correct and it's wrong. But it is written in the manner that is very confident that they are correct. So we have to be able to figure out the answer that the AI give us is correct or not anyway. So if we have to be able to judge the output from the AI, we still need to know in this discipline, like when if we work in linguistics, we have to know when they give the answer, and we have to know that that answer is correct or not. So we still need to know in our discipline, and actually we need to know more than AI, so we can be able to tell what is right or what is wrong in their answer. But the same time that for education is still the same for 4 years, or in the future it might be shorter than that. So we have to find a way to learn more with the same or shorter time. And one way to do this, we have to teach our students to study by themselves by using AI as a tutor, and they have to learn how to interact with the AI perfectly, and they have to learn how to integrate all kind of knowledge to solve a problem for them. And okay, I think I missed something on this. Anyway, this one I asked ChatGPT to help us to think about a scenario when AI come and disrupt the whole education. So I asked them to create several AI agents, and the first agent will produce a seemingly unavoidable education disruption. So this is the bad guy, the disruptor. So this guy will say that AI will personalize education, and student can learn by itself. So actually by this approach, students don't have to go to uh, we don't need a teacher, we don't need a professor to teach anything, because AI know a lot and they can teach students. We just have an outline what the student have to learn in this subject, and have AI agent working as a teacher in that subject and follow every student that they have succeed in that task. Okay, and I asked them to create other agents, and they try to find a solution to solve this problem. Okay, so agent number 2 is economists. They see this scenario and they see that there might be a job loss on this. We might not need a lot of teacher in the future, so we have to reskill teacher how to maybe to teach with AI, or to change their job to other things, something like that. And for agent 3 is a sociologist. They think that social interaction is crucial in education, and we have to make sure that AI encourage group learning and social activity. AI should not replace human teacher, but assist human teachers. And for agent number 4 is ethicists. Ethicists say that they're concerned about transparency and explainable. So what AI knows should not be a black box. They should be able to explain, and they should be unbiased and fair, something like that. And for technologists, they're concerned about technology and how to implement this. So they think that they have to find a way to make infrastructure to be reliable and to be fair and evenly distribute, something like that. And for agent number 6, educator, they think that we might need to change curriculum and emphasize skill that AI cannot teach, like creativity, leadership, something like that. And at the end, we have this agent talk together, and they came up with agent number 3. That is the main point that we should focus to dealing with problem, because social interaction is a thing that AI cannot teach. We cannot let students to learn privately with the AI without learning to live among other people in our society. So this is the point, the main point, that why we still need to have school where students have to come and interact with each other and learn socially on that. Which is very interesting, because I haven't thought about this issue before when I asked ChatGPT to brainstorm and work on this. So I think this is a strong point that we have to focus on in education, because if we focus on knowledge, on solving problems, AI can help doing that, and then we don't have a role for human interaction at all, because students can learn from AI and can interact with AI. Okay.
It's been a long time coming, but I know change gonna come.
Okay, that's the end of my presentation.
Yes, Professor. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, now I would like to say yes to open the floor for all participants. So for the QA session, so please feel free to raise the questions about the webinar ChatGPT research assistant in digital age. Yes.
Yeah. Good morning, Professor. Maybe now good afternoon, Professor. And I'm Wang Yili, Chinese student, PhD student in BRU. And now from I think that we have learned a lot about ChatGPT from your lecture, and it is very insightful. But I have a question, and for me, maybe in China now, ChatGPT is becoming more and more popular, and some students and also including teachers, we are confused about how to use ChatGPT properly. For example, and as we know that it is convenient, it is very useful about ChatGPT, because maybe we can get so many knowledge by using it. And but for example, I see that maybe we can use ChatGPT in ELT, in English language teaching, and I think that ChatGPT is closely related to the English skill, especially writing. yeah, we can use ChatGPT in writing, but I'm not. I'm sure maybe some of my students will just how to say it, just entered their the title of the composition, and then maybe they will copy, just copy the essay from ChatGPT. And so as a teacher, we should judge whether it is a return, a human return, or AI return. And so I have a question. Could you can you give us a suggestion how to use ChatGPT properly in teaching writing? Thank you.
Yes. For teaching writing, we can see that we cannot simply ask student by giving a title or essay and ask them to write an essay on that title, because student can ask ChatGPT to write the essay for them. So and we cannot just rely on any tool to detect the writing, because as I show you, there are many ways that we can fool the system that it is written by human. So I think we should not focus on the outcome or the output, but we should focus on the process. So if we ask students to write an essay, we might have to ask them to submit the process. We might ask them to first, for example, write the essay in your language, and then put this your writing and ask ChatGPT to evaluate your writing and make the correction, and then list all the point or the error that you found in your essay, and discuss something that you found really interesting, and discuss your problem. What is your problem in your writing? Something like that. Not focus on the outcome, but focus on what is found in your writing, and how you are going to use your ChatGPT in improve your writing, and let them write the whole process for us, and we evaluate on that process. This is the first thought that I thought. Actually, some teacher change the way of teaching into this direction.
Yeah, okay, thank you. Thank you, Professor.
Yes, I think that's a very clear answer. Okay, thank you, Professor. Thank you, Wang Ili from China, and she's also our PhD student. Yes, Professor. I suggest I saw Ajahn Rita raise her hand. Yes, Ajahn Rita is our business English lecturer, and I think she has a question. Yes.
Yes, so I'd like to say thank you so much, Ajahn Wirote, Naka, for your sharing for your experience and the chat about the ChatGPT. That's really new for some of us, maybe just for me too. And this is the incredible like chatbot AI, and I think I loved it. And I just want to know that what do you like the most about the ChatGPT? And do you use this materials in your classroom with the student as well? Which one that you like the most, Ka?
Actually, I usually ask ChatGPT to help me in collecting my paper when I write a paper, and ask them to give me some ideas when I think about this topic, and I am not sure I think about it too early, so I ask them to create many agents and help me think on that topic. So I can get some more new ideas on that issue. For teaching, since right now I haven't teach much, so I haven't used ChatGPT. But I try to use it and ask it to create a syllabus, a course outline, or even a lecture note in this class, and even a quiz or exercise is possible to do that.
ค่ะ thank you ค่ะ
Yes, thank you, Ajahn Rita, for your questions. Yes, Mary is she is the student in PhD ELT program, and she has
Good
a question.
afternoon, Professor. I'm a PhD student from batch 1. PhD in ELD and Faculty of Humanities and Social Science, Buriram, Rajabhat University. Thank you very much for your insightful lecture today. Frankly, I have a little knowledge about AI, especially in ChatGPT. And today I have got a lot of knowledge from you and how helpful the ChatGPT is. And frankly, I feel afraid we may have many talents in teaching English in our classroom because today's children most they are technology born, and I feel afraid how to overcome in teaching English if they use ChatGPT, and we may be talented in teaching, especially in writing, I think. But I have a knowledge when you answer the question for one yearly. Thank you, Professor. But here I would like to know, I have heard you said by using ChatGPT, we can create our research question or our questionnaire for our research. Am I right, Professor?
Yes, it's possible to do that.
Yeah, if we can use ChatGPT to create our research question and questionnaire, can we how should I say the questionnaire or the research question we get from ChatGPT? How can we know the reliability and the validity of the questionnaire or the research question got from ChatGPT?
Okay, and in that way, ChatGPT is only help us in creating the questionnaire. Like we might ask them to create 40 or 50 questions for us, and then we select which question should be used or should be included. So we have to decide by ourselves which one that we want to use, and then after that to evaluate the questionnaire whether it is reliable is another step that we have to go to the same process that we have to ask experts to help us evaluate this kind of form or something like that. So ChatGPT is just a tool for us to do the same thing that we do, but we don't have to do it all by ourselves. We ask them to help generate question or to help something like that, and then we select and go to the whole the same process. Like
we should confirm with experts.
Yeah, that usually is the way, but actually we can ask ChatGPT after we create the questionnaire. We can ask them to take a role as an expert, one expert to evaluate that questionnaire. It's still possible, but I don't think for actual research to be acceptable, I think it still need human expert to evaluate. It would be difficult if we say that we ask ChatGPT create questionnaire and evaluate questionnaire for us. Many people would have doubt on that whether it's valid or not.
Okay, thank you. I see, Professor. Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you, Mary. Thank you. Next, Mr. Asa Smith. He is a lecturer of English program and he's from Cameroon. Yes, Mr. Smith.
Thank you very much, sir. Good afternoon, Professor.
Yes,
I've been introduced. I'm Asa Smith, and I'm a lecturer here at Buriram Rajabhat University, and I'm from Cameroon. I'm very grateful for the insightful talks and guidance as far as using ChatGPT and AI in writing. So I have two worries that you may help to clarify me and maybe help me have a better insight as far as the use of ChatGPT and the AI is concerned. The first aspect is, can ChatGPT really help us to, to prepare questionnaires that are valid and reliable, as well as help to analyze the result. That is, as well as analyze the results that we achieve. That's the first question. And then the second one is, I will be a little bit divergent by, since I teach listening and speaking as one of the courses, and in Thailand, as well as in most Asian nations, one of the skills that students have a lot of problem in is the speaking skill. How can we use the ChatGPT to enhance the teaching of this skill? Thank you, sir.
Okay. For the first question, I think it's similar to last the last one that I answered, that I think ChatGPT would act as a tool for us to create a questionnaire or analyze the data, but at the end we still need to ask some expert to evaluate on that result. We cannot solely rely on ChatGPT. We think of ChatGPT as a tool that help us get an idea and get the work done more quickly, something like that. And for the second questions, I think the problem, especially for Thai students, that I think they lack practice, and one way that they can use ChatGPT to for listening and speaking, that they can use ChatGPT and they can install some add-on that they can speak to their computer without typing, and the computer can speak back. So in that way, they can use ChatGPT as a chatbot, a friendly chatbot that they can practice speaking and listening every day, something like that. So by this way, they can get more confident and can speak more fluently because they have practiced a lot at home by using ChatGPT. So what we need to teach them is to teach them how to use ChatGPT plus add on some voice. Right now, if you are using Chrome browser, there is an add-on for English. You can add English voice into ChatGPT, so students can talk to ChatGPT directly on Chrome.
Yes, that's
Thank you
pretty
very much
clear.
for the succinct answer, the succinct response. I think this knowledge, I will use it to transfer it to the students in order that they become better English speakers. Thank you very much again, sir.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Asa Smith, for your questions. Are there any more questions from the participants? Or you feel hungry now? Okay. Yes, as we near the end of this webinar, ChatGPT, a research assistant in digital age, by our invited speaker, Associate Professor Dr. Wirote Aroonmanakun from Department of Linguistics Faculty of Arts, Chulalongkorn University. And on this occasion, it's my honor to invite our chairperson and dean, Associate Professor Dr. Aroonmanakun, Dean Faculty of Humanities and Social Sciences, Rajabhat University, to deliver a thankful message to our distinguished speaker and to closing remarks. Yes, please join me to welcome the dean to express our collective appreciation, please. Please,
So I think you all do agree with me, with no doubt, that talk delivered by our invited speaker today, Associate Professor Dr. Wirote Aroonmanakun, very insightful and very informative indeed. All right, and thank you so much for your very interesting and challenging questions and clear answer from our invited speakers. I'm very certain that you got a lot of things relevant to ChatGPT AI from our professor today. And we highly hope, Professor, in the near future, we are waiting for the good news that you become a full professor very soon in linguistics. And if we are lucky enough, we would like to sincerely you to give us a talk at our university on campus. Please stay healthy. And thank you so much once again, my students and my colleagues, for your energetic participation in this webinar. And I would like to invite all of you, please join me in expressing our sincere thanks to our invited speaker once again, Associate Professor Dr. Wirote Aroonmanakun. ขอบคุณท่านอาจารย์มากนะครับ ขอบคุณมากนะครับ And thank you everyone. And please allow me to take this moments to declare the webinar officially closed. Thank you so much. See you next time. Stay in touch. ขอบคุณครับ ขอบคุณท่านอาจารย์นะครับ ขอบคุณท่านนะครับ ขอบคุณครับ